now, and then you have the field house in Mount Pleasant. That are you going to try and do any more with that moving forward? Or I know we've talked somewhat about some of the things you've talked about for configurations of changing things, but do you anticipate changes in that in the next couple of years?
So the reason we did the field house, we met with the city in Mount Pleasant like two years ago, maybe 3 years ago, just at their plan. I met with the city and I met with the school district, and because I wanted to know what their plan was on that front, because the city had just put in a pool. And I was like, okay, well, that's awesome. But what about a field house, like an indoor training facility that's not a gym? Because the gyms are kind of they're starting to lock them down more because people are trying to go in there. That's the only space that they have, but they're not built for like a turf field would
for
be.
Training sports.
Yes.
They're for training physically.
And so again, with our mentality of like, how do we provide a service to better the community? And selfishly, like our kids are at that age where we want it for our kids. And that's kind of been the bug for us is like, well, if we wait, then nothing's going to happen. Or if it does happen, it'll happen after our kids can use it. And then we're less motivated to try and do something. So anyway, we met with them just to kind of get a feel for where they were at, if it was on their radar, if it was something they were actively pursuing. And it basically came down to no, they weren't doing anything with it. Mostly funding. Again, small town, you got to prioritize where you're spending your money.
Yep.
So that's fine. And so we kind of left it, but then the field house that we did, the only reason that we were able to do that is because the property, we were able to acquire the property that had a building on it.
Right.
And we just converted the building. It used to be a boys' home. And then they did, as part of their therapy, they did equine therapy. And so they built that building as an indoor horse arena to be able to do their therapy sessions during the winter, because we get cold winters, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, when we were able to make a bid and acquire that property, that was the motivation. It was like, okay, we've got this building. We didn't build it with the intention of what we're using it for, but it was already there and we were able to retrofit it.
Yeah.
Even still, I think I asked John, I think we were like, I think we were like $250,000 in, actually, I think he said 450, but that seems high to me, in renovating it to the point where it is what it is, to even what we're using it for.
Well, I mean, turf isn't cheap, and the labor to put it in, I'm sure, isn't.
Yeah. And we've redid the air, we redid the heat, concrete. Anyway, but whatever. Anyway. So the point is we put some money into it to even get it retrofitted to what we're using it for. And then before we started using it, we're like, this is freaking awesome. And then we get people in there and we're like, if you start getting larger teams, and because you do soccer and you've been in there, you start getting larger teams with, I don't know, more than 15 or 20 kids maybe.
Yep.
It feels tight.
Yeah.
And then if you get like the high school, we were kind of geared towards the youth. But the high school, same thing. They need indoor facilities. So the baseball team used it this last winter because, again, the winter went really long and they needed a place to train. I mean, the other option is a hard basketball court, and that's not ideal. So we at least had some turf. But those kids are bigger and stronger.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of them. But just the fact that they're bigger and stronger, it's like, okay, the facility is a little bit too small. So at the beginning of this year, one of the things that I was pursuing was a bigger space. I was like, okay, we've got property. We can put it right next to it, but we just need a bigger building. And we found one up north. It's still, nothing is materialized. And I don't know, I'm kind of losing faith that anything will materialize with it. But the guy that approached us, I think was a realtor. I think he's playing middleman. And the property was acquired by a developer who was going to tear down everything that was on there, which was a couple industrial metal buildings. And then he was going to build 300 or something apartment complexes or something. So his motivation was to tear down and build apartments. Last I heard, they were going through the zoning process, but again, I haven't heard anything, so I don't know if anything's going to materialize.
Sure.
But the point is, those buildings were going to be destroyed. And so the guy found out about us and he's like, hey, if you can come get this building down, you can have it, pay for the cost to remove it, which would probably be $100,000 or something is what he told us, because we had to remove the concrete and offload the stuff. And then we're looking into the logistics of like, okay, how do we get it down? How do we transport it? How do we get it up? And then in the meantime, the school district and the city put together. I think the school district spearheaded it because they got a new football coach who's awesome. I think he's going to do some great things for the school, for the boys especially. Seems like just a good guy. Seems like he's going to.
I've heard some good stuff about him. Yeah.
I've met him once, talked to him briefly, heard him talk. He seems like he's going to do. He seems like the coach that I would want. And anyway, I think it'll be good. But I think he's spearheaded a lot of this because he says we need an indoor field house. Everyone else has them. He came from up north where they have
Like a big school,
bucks.
wasn't it? Yeah.
I think it was Bingham. So yeah, like money is not an issue for the people up there that it's not an issue for, and they're willing to contribute. And so that's where he comes from. And so then we come down here, and I think he's been spearheading that. And so the talks have started again after we had already. So I found out about that, and I was like, well, shoot, if this is real, and if I would much rather the city do it or the school district do it, because it's going to live into perpetuity, and then they have other ways of being able to fund it, right?
Yeah.
Whereas us, privately, it's like, okay, well, we're going to pay for it. And then, I mean, we've got to figure out how to make it pay for itself or at least get our money back. I mean, we're not in a position, I would love to be in a position where I'm just like, here it is.
Right.
We've got all the money in the world, but we're not there. So anyway, so they found out about it. And then, or I found out about them, and then we went and talked to them, and they said that they're going to try and do some kind of tax district. I can't remember what they called it, but to pass it around as a vote for the community to see if the community support would be behind it, and then it would increase some property tax maybe or something percentage
be able to get
to raise the money to be able to do it. So that's where we're at. So because of that, and because I haven't heard from these guys, I haven't really pushed it. We're kind of in limbo.
Right.
Because if they pull it off, which I would prefer, then we probably wouldn't do anything else up there as far as a bigger indoor turf area.
Yeah.
Which is what I would love to see in the area somewhere.
Yeah.
And again, our motivation to do it would be our kids could use it, and the space that we have now. It's like 10,000 square feet, which I think is probably the size of a full size normal basketball court if we occupied the whole space for that.
Right. Yeah.
And so if we could have a bigger building that was dedicated just to turf, then I would convert that building into that.
Yeah.
And then you could do your pickleball and your basketball and your volleyball, just your hard court stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so other than that, in the meantime, I don't know. We've talked about adding on to that building a little bit as is, just to create a little bit better, because we don't have, again, it was built as an outdoor horse arena.
Yeah.
So there's no restroom facilities. So we have a porta potty for right now, just for the emergencies that you need. But we've talked about building onto the north side of it to include bathrooms, locker rooms, a dedicated space for the batting cages. Because right now the batting cages that we have, you have to
go up and take them and put them down.
Yeah, because they're occupying the same space as the basketball court right now.
Yeah.
So it just, the hassle of that, which is fine. It's quick to do. Just somebody needs to do it.
Yeah.
So if we could have those dedicated in another spot that just stays up all the time, then that helps solve.
It also gives you another space that you can rent out for potential income.
Yeah. So that's on the roadmap. I don't know. It probably would have been on the roadmap for this year. We've talked about it pretty heavily, but we're doing an addition in Ephraim at our gym there. And it's, we're relying on some funds that aren't coming anymore.
Right.
And so we've been, it's going to be a little bit tighter year than we were expecting.